like Jay texted me saying like Mayweather McGregor's coming to London this weekend, like you need to go. Like he was a bit out of the game because he was running a tech company at the time, and after all the Olympic stuff came out in the press, he basically got like a lot of his investors and mentors like were pretty pissed off that he did that so publicly. So he was like, go do it by yourself, have fun and see what happens. So I was moving to London like the month after. So I drove off in my van with a suit and with 2 photoshopped passes. One was a AAA, one was a press pass. And I didn't know what was going to unlock what door, but you know, AAA should do the trick. But I went in with a camera and I looked more like press. I don't look like a guy who was, especially like I was a lot younger back then.
So you had a film guy with you?
No, all me. So solo mission. Yeah. So wow. I rock up to Wembley SSE Arena, and it was honestly one of the easiest break-ins I've ever done. So I'm in a suit with a camera. I've got a press pass around my neck, and it looks pretty fucking legit. Like I've done a decent job on Photoshop, and I guessed the size. It looked about the right size. I saw a couple of legit ones floating around. So I was like, I'll give it a go. I'm looking for like a backstage entrance door, and I see somebody sort of make their way off to the right hand side and go through a door. So I'm like, right, I'll just try that. I bust through the door, and this big long corridor which looks like it takes you all the way backstage just like is right in front of me. I'm like, holy shit, this is it. This is how I get in. But halfway down the corridor was a security guard, and it was too late to turn around. I was like sort of fight or flight. I was like, everything in me was like, turn around, like, the fuck are you doing? I just like somehow just start walking towards him, and I'm like, right, I really need to be overconfident here, as if I'm like, act like you belong's the sort of the tagline for all of this shit. You have to act like you're meant to be there. So I go up to him, I dap him up, I'm like, yes lad, how's your night been? Like, you okay? He's like, yeah, all good. He's like, you've got the wrong pass though. You're not allowed to be down here. I'm like, oh shit, right, okay. But I knew I had the other one in my pocket. And I was like, oh, no worries, I think I've got given the wrong pass. And he was like, oh, it's cool. Just like, if you get the right pass, come back down and come see me. So I basically just walk back down the corridor, go into the toilet, switch the passes, and then go straight back down. I'm like, mate, you were completely right. I got the wrong pass. They give me the right one now, and just put the AAA one on. And he was in my back pocket the whole night. I bought him drinks. I was taking care of him. I was I kept having to walk by him to get into the backstage bit. But once I had him, he was the only person in between me and the backstage bit. So I arrived like 2-3 hours early. It was just soaking up the atmosphere. And then as it got closer and closer to showtime, I was like, how do I make this video like even better? Like, you want that big moment, that big sort of crescendo at the end. I just thought if I could walk out with McGregor, being like a McGregor fan, it would just be so fucking good. The whole crowd was like in favour of McGregor. There's loads of Irish who had come over, and I just somehow just timed it perfectly. Like I was in the corridor just as like they walked out of their room, so I paced it behind him and just sort of locked in with their entourage. So there's about like 9 of us all walking towards the stage, and literally as the curtains part, the guy on the mic's like, "The Notorious, got him!" And I'm just like seeing this sea of people, the lights, everything, and I'm just there with my camera just like this far away from his face, like filming him, and just I must have just looked like I was meant to be there. So
that's
it was
unbelievable.
That moment I was like, this has got to be, I didn't want to like, you know, overdo it, overthink it, but I was like, this has to be, this is just fucking mental what I've managed to just do. And yeah, just spent the whole rest of the evening. Then, you know, the only security guard that was going to be an issue knew me on a first name basis at that point. So I walked into his dressing room. It was his 30th birthday that night, and all of his family came to the dressing room. They cut this like Ireland flag cake, and I was just there like, what the fuck? Why is no one asking why I'm meant to be here? I was just filming the whole thing on my camera. So that was that. And yeah, that video did 2 million views in like the first month, which was just crazy for me at the time. Got me like a whole chunk of subscribers, got me a load of press from like Lad Bible, Unilad, all of those sort of big online publishers. And then that was like the start to my entire YouTube career.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So shout out Conor McGregor for starting my career.
Yeah. So I remember, if I remember rightly, 2017 that was.
Yeah.
And in the O2, as part of their tour, they was actually in a boxing ring for that one.
Yeah.
Doing the talk.
Yeah.
Mayweather at the time hadn't had his hair transplant. He was still bald. But he had a stripy, like leopard almost type of, tiger.
Like a knit.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Chain, diamond chain on the, and that was when he had the $1 million Hublot on.
Right.
Because that's when he said to Conor McGregor, oh, that's cute, that's 20, 30 grand. This is $1 million. And I remember that one, that particular one so vividly.
Yeah.
Did you get to meet, or was you in the presence of Floyd Mayweather at the time as well?
No, and I didn't want to be. I felt very much like the video was going to perform if the whole narrative was about like picking sides.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't. And funnily enough, I got the pictures of the passes because Floyd Mayweather's driver put them all on Instagram. So the only reason why I was able to do that was Floyd's team leaked the fucking passes online.
Right.
And it was his driver. I think he had like 300 followers and I somehow found it. And so I felt like after that video went out, he probably got a stern word talking to.
When you was in the changing room with Conor McGregor and his team, what was he like as an individual? Because he's full of energy and he's larger than life type of character. What was it like being in his room?
It was just calm, cool, calm, collected. Yeah, I remember like I thought I was going to be like worried, like you're in there with a trained assassin sort of thing, and if they out me as like a, who the fuck are you sort of thing. I didn't have anything prepared. Like I was just sort of in there just awaiting my fate sort of thing. But yeah, he did one media interview, everyone left, and then it was just like chilling. They cut the cake, they were just chatting, and I didn't get, I was a different person back then. I feel like I was willing to go to those lanes, but I wasn't nowhere near as confident, or like I didn't hold myself in that way. So I did actually wait for the whole press thing at the end where he was sort of going down the line and speaking to the press and stuff, and I had one question prepared for him. That was like the aim of the video, and it was dumb coming to think of it, but it was, would you rather fight 20 duck-sized Mayweathers or one Mayweather-sized duck? I think that was the question I had fucking prepared for him.
Right.
And he got to me at the end and he gave me some eye contact, and I'd waited for like a second, and then he walked off. So that was my one big regret. I regretted that so much, because that is like the ending of the video where he's like, I don't know whether he would have answered it or not, he would have remembered it, and I think that would have probably made it more viral.